It's the weekend. It's Mailbag. This week, I am joined by Warren, Pete, and Keith. As ever, we've got loads to get through, so we'll get straight into it. Just after a say, if you're listening on YouTube or you're watching on YouTube, please do give us a like and a subscribe and leave a comment. Same if you're listening on Patreon, go over to YouTube and do all that as well. Anyway, let's go. Quick look back. Favourite moments of Everton's 24-25 season, as this is the first one since the season's finished. Pete, will come to you first. What has been your favourite moment of last season?
Favorite moment, probably it was just after the derby. Obviously when Tarkowski scores a late winner, I was going back into the Gladys Street because we had to go and tidy up all the flags, and then everyone was just obviously going nuts. I mean that entire night or the end of that game was my highlight. But everyone singing, I guess that's why they call it the blues, was just boss. Absolutely loved it. And I think we were obviously all dreading it because they'd started singing their song just before Tarkowski scored. I think everyone was like, let's get off. But then to go from that to just absolute bedlam was unbelievable. And it was just a really fitting way to see Goodison Park night games off in style. We had, the 2-2 win.
Yeah. It was a good derby as well, though, I think. I think it was like a fitting derby, really.
You know what? I missed the first goal as well. I missed the first goal because I didn't miss it. I missed the build up to it. But as I was walking up to my seat, because we done like the flags in the Gladys Street, and then so I tend to get to my seat about 10 minutes in. But as I was walking up the stairs, I just heard, "Go on." And I got to the top of the stairs and there was Beto scoring, and I was just going going nuts. But yeah.
Your efforts didn't go unnoticed because Stephen said the best moment. He says the Ipswich game. Best moment Ipswich game was last game at Goodison Park in 1878. They did an unbelievable job making it so memorable. Shame about the result though. So yeah, I think on the Ipswich game where it just went, everything went all in, and the derby, I think they're the two memorable ones from the stuff that you did. Was the derby
Confetti is the one?
Yeah, confetti was great. Was the derby the first one with we built this city banner?
Yeah,
because that hasn't rattled them at all, has it?
They have taken that so badly.
Incredible. It's so good. Keith?
Yeah, just touching on what Pete said there, that go on is one of the iconic Goodison noises, isn't it? Along with obviously turn. But like it's one of those, it sounds better because you can hear all the seats flapping up as people go on. Right. Probably I'd echo the derby, like last sort of 10 minutes were hell into heaven. I think I love the video you see of all the fellas who got off early watching in the hot walk and going mental in the street. Big fan of that. Personally, my moment of the season was the full-time whistle after Southampton, and just stood there in absolute floods with my lads, like just so grateful and privileged to have been a part of what is like, I mean, that will live in Everton history forever. Like people will look back on that day in Everton history forever, and it was a great way to go out. So for me, that's it. It'll take some top in that.
Yeah.
Or Anthony Gordon's penalty miss.
Did you see the club took the piss last week as well when Ashley Young
when he got nutmegged by Youngo?
Incredible. Love it. Warren?
Yeah, I think everything on the last day was and will forever be my favourite ever moment. But aside from that, I remember at the time thinking the win at Crystal Palace was our best win of the season. Because I think the derby was just before it actually. And I think we were all thinking, we've gone through all that on Wednesday night. There was no way we're coming down to London and doing anything. Like, we'll take a point. And then to get that victory, that was the moment then when I was like, nah, we're not going down. No chance. Because I think it wasn't that it was still in the, it wasn't that we still thought we would, but there was still a chance. And I think after that win, I was like, nah, Everton are all right, and we've got a good manager there, and things are on the up again. So that for me was maybe not moment, but definitely my best win of the season. That Crystal Palace away game, I thought was outstanding. But yeah, we've in a season that was being littered with a few down down points. There's been a lot of ups, particularly at the end of the season, and I think a lot of it's been fan-led, and a lot of it's been individual moments. But yeah, nothing will ever beat that last ever game. That was just. I'm still on a hangover from it now. Yeah, what a day, what an experience.
Yeah, it's not often that you get it right, is it, and do something perfect. But that was, I think we said on every podcast since, that was an absolutely perfect day. It was just.
Do you know what though, Les? I was a bit disappointed, and I'll say that I'm not disappointed now, but I was a bit disappointed. Do you remember when Arsenal left Highbury and they used to do they did like a Dennis Bergkamp day and everyone got a Holland shirt and they did they did like a load of different themes and it was like, it felt like a real send off to Highbury. And in the builds, I was thinking Everton could have done more, but I take that all back now because I just think the low key nature of the last day made it brilliant and some even better. The fact Everton didn't go overboard on the whole season, I think was actually a good thing because it just made that last day all the more authentic. And I know Matt Jones was saying about the fact with There She Goes and that none of it was really planned or pre-orchestrated, or they didn't say this is what we're going to do so everyone get it. It was all natural in the end, and that's what made it even more unique. So in the end, starting with, I was disappointed there was nothing leading up to it. But actually, in the end, I thought it was the best thing that could have happened because I think that day was just perfect.
I think probably the circumstances surrounding that were the fact that we were in the shit at the start of the season and the season before. So it might have been a bit rum if they'd started celebrating stuff every game.
Arsenal were Arsenal when they left Highbury were blathering everyone in sight.
Yeah,
we were throwing away a 2-goal lead at home to Bournemouth. So
I reckon that was a mitigating circumstance, and also the 1878 decision to just do Ipswich and then leave the final game to its own devices was it was a great decision. Yeah, absolutely spot on. So favourite moments, tangled up in blues, Tarkowski. And there she goes at Goodison, a pure organic outburst of emotion. David, hard to find a favourite moment apart from Tarkowski's equaliser against the Shite, but the away wins we've had under Moyes have been amazing. That Palace one you talked about, Warren, it's quite easy to brush that off as well. It's Palace, we always beat Palace. But this season's Palace, I think they've shown are different, even though they finished 12th somehow still.
They always finish 12th.
They always finish 12th. They're a good side, and they were in the middle of a really good run of form when we beat them at home. And that's like you say, that shouldn't be sort of brushed under the carpet because that was where we thought, okay, yeah, we're all right here. Stephen said Ipswich, said that before. JK, favourite moment was full time against Spurs. Seeing Moyes celebrate a Goodison win is just Everton, isn't it? Embo, favourite moment for me was Leicester game on the 1st of Feb. His anniversary match to the very day, 50 years. Plus, it was our last win at Goodison on a Saturday. True, I'd forgotten about that, yeah. And then Dave said he's got two favourite moments. The first was Mosey's post-match rant after losing to United 4-0, although he thinks it was 3-0 when he made that rant. Yeah, it was definitely got off early. It was. Yeah, Dave says, I'd implore any Evertonian to go back and listen to it. In retrospect, it's very funny and entertaining, but at the time it summed up lots of people's frustrations with Dyche. And it's that game where many of the fan base realised that time was up. The second and arguably more important is the win at Palace. Yes, that 4-0 United, that was when Matt and Mose were quite a little bit scalloped, to use your phrase, Pete. I think where they on that.
I sorted out Matt a ticket for that, and God bless him, he thought he paid, but he hadn't paid me. So about a week later, I was like, Matt, I'm really sorry to do this, mate, but you owe me money for the ticket. You know when you feel really bad about asking someone for money after a 4-0 defeat like that? And he's like, oh, God, all right, yeah, there you go. But yeah, that Mosey rant. Well. Yeah, that Mosey rant, I agree. That was up there, one of the moments of the season. And get on old cheeky arse Dyche, by the way, going on overlap and giving Amarin advice on how to manage. And you're like, mate, you went to Man United against the worst Man United team ever and lost 4-0. So shut your mouth.
It feels like we're the only team to not beat them last season.
I know. Probably true. Yeah.
Dave also agrees on the Palace thing. They finished above us and won the cup. That was Moyes' statement result. And when he realised we were going to be safe, and that was also by Alcaraz. We'd won a couple, got knocked out the cup, drew at Liverpool, so things were looking up. That performance crystallised much of what David Moyes' Everton team should be. Personally, that was when I thought he should be given the opportunity to take us into next season. Speaking of which, looking ahead to next season, David's asked, is the School of Science on its way back? Feels like it.
Yeah, absolutely. An unstoppable juggernaut.
It is.
Right, well,
We've actually brought that song back at Walton Park for Brian Sorensen because
Okay.
for all his because for all of the bad results we've had with him, he hasn't had any backing. But as soon as he was given money, we started. You can see what it is he's trying to build, and I feel like this summer, if we make the right signs, I think that Everton women can fly right up that league, and Goodison will help as well. So the School of Science is already on its way back for the Everton women's team, but I've got every faith. I think David Moyes will do the same thing.
Yeah, we
I
need
think
to change the
they'll
word.
be
you
sound,
signed
though.
anyone on loan?
Yeah, well, that's it.
We
That's
will
what
do.
we had to do because we literally had to get everyone on like frees and loans. So we were singing that song, School of Science, on its way back. But David Moyes is the first manager in a long time who I trust with a transfer budget. So and also I think that he'll bring the right type of players in as well. So yeah,
it does.
See,
it's
I
nice
want the it is well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like actually going into the summer now. It's not quite feet up and relax and enjoy it, but there's going to be progress made, or it feels like there's going to be progress made. So, but I want a combination of the School of Science and the Dogs of War. I want the Dogs of Science.
Or the School of War. That sounds
School of War.
Yeah,
that's Jack Black's lesser known sequel.
Can we bring back the puppies of localized conflict?
Oh, amazing. That was some more post-match gold, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was one of the brief shining lights under Mr. Dyche.
I mean, that was the thing. When all said and done, we had some terrible results, but we have had some fun on post-match regardless.
We've had good times.
We have had good times.
Yeah.
Another one looking forward to next season. Ian, hello, lads. Hope you're all well. Everyone good?
Sounds.
Yeah.
Cheers,
as Saturday mornings go, it's up there.
Yeah, it sounds. Yeah, sun's shining.
Cheers, Ian.
Who would you like to see as our first opponents at the new stadium? Sunderland for me. That's a good shout. I mean, I'm not normally one to want a newly promoted team on the opening day. It isn't the best time to play them, but I do think that would generate some atmosphere at the new ground
on a Friday night.
It's going to be about the fourth game in anyway, isn't it? So
yeah, if they moved it to a Friday night, I'm with you. I was always burned by playing Crystal Palace in '97.
Lombardo.
Yeah, I was always burned by that. So I've always been like, nah, do not play a promoted team on the first day. However, I think the festival of fun that would be Sunderland at home on a Friday night football, with JP1 in goal, I think, I'd go for Sunderland, Ian. Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Didn't we play the promoted team about 4 seasons on the bounce? So we drew 2-2 with Norwich in 2013-14.
Lost to Watford, didn't we?
Yeah, drew 2-2 with Leicester 2014-15.
Yeah.
Drew 2-2 with Watford 2015-16. And then, Tottenham. So yeah, like 3 seasons on the bounce there. We had the promoted team and drew 2-2. That's weird.
I'm sure we lost to QPR on the opening day when they came up as well.
Yeah, I
think Joey Barton was playing for them as well, the bad meth.
We were at home. We were at home, I think, weren't we? That rings a bell.
I don't know if it was first day of the season. I've
first home game.
My memory.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Wasn't that the season when it was the riots and we were supposed to play Tottenham, but we didn't play Tottenham? So then our first game of the season was QPR at home.
You're spot on.
Was it that year?
Yeah, that'll be 2011-12. At home, lost 1-0. Yeah.
I missed that game. I was in hospital. I snapped my Achilles. I think I've told you about doing my Achilles.
Yeah,
I did it like 2 days before.
Part of the riots.
No, footy. So snapped my Achilles, and then on the morning of, excuse me, I thought what they'd said to me was I could go home the following day if I could use my crutches. Basically, they said if you can get to and from or whatever. And I was waiting for this doctor to come round. So in my head, I was thinking, well, if they let me out early, I can go the match stupidly with a snapped Achilles and a big boot on, like. And they waited until because I said to them, I'm going to go the match, by the way. Is that all right? And they were like, well, we wouldn't recommend it. And I was like, yeah, but I'm going to go the match. So, it's just going to happen. So just, can you hurry this along a bit? And they basically waited till about 2 o'clock until they told me I could go. And then I had to then wait for my dad to come back from the game to then come and pick me up to take me home. So it was like, yeah, so missed it. But thankfully I missed it in the end. Thankfully I missed it because
they've done you a service there. God bless the NHS.
God bless the NHS. The other thing about it was as well, it kind of summed up my week at that point, because it was like, I'd missed the match and then we got beat. So it's just a real Everton that moment.
Yeah, they clearly don't know about the Everton end and crutches thing, do they? Though, if they're trying to stop you going to match with crutches,
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Tradition. That's why we lost.
Defo.
Yeah,
you'd have been there like that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Arms aloft, crutches in the air, Achilles fucked. Yeah, Sunderland then. That's a good shout. Mike, on next season, give me your narrative of next season. We're clearly winning the league, so how will it happen? And what terrible things will you do for the devil to make it happen? Oh, there aren't many things I wouldn't do at this point, I don't think, for that. Really. I don't know. What would it be? It's... Do we sweep the board? Right, we win the league next season. Do we, just piss it like the Reds have this season, or go to the end and, final day? I'd prefer a final day clincher. Couldn't handle it, but I'd love it.
I think there'll be...
Can you imagine it like City's, the Aguero moment? I think people would genuinely be having heart attacks.
Yeah.
I'd want to stroll it by February, so every game from then in is a procession. But it is happening. As previously mentioned, we are currently an unstoppable juggernaut. La Decima is happening. And my favourite thing about it will be the Hand It Over Liverpool song.
Oh God, yeah. Shades of 87 again.
Imagine those lucky bastards in the 80s that got to do all that.
I know. I was too young myself. Just it passed me by. Warren?
Do you know what? I'm kind of wanting us to just pipe this we're going to win the league narrative, so that these odd weird Reds who listen to us now and again, and they'll go on social media and go, the Evertonians think they're going to win the league, just because they're moving to a new ground. So I think we should just all from now on just say, yeah, we're clearly winning the league. We're going to do it on the last day, and it's going to be, we're going to lose on the last day, but we're still going to win the league. A la Blackburn in 1995.
Oh,
yeah. We'll go with that.
Do you know what? I think one team I'd love to beat on the final day to clinch the title, obviously apart from the Reds, would be Man United. I'd love to beat them, because they've got a couple times. Oh, Newcastle will be a hoot.
Newcastle at Bramley Moor on the final day of the season. A
Jordan Pickford saving a penalty.
3-0 thingy. And Anthony Gordon gets booed off because he's announced that he's joining Liverpool in the summer.
Bang into that.
Just knock it all on the head after that.
Yeah. We're not going to get any better than that, are we?
Yeah, knock the ground down.
I agree with Keith. A last day clincher against Newcastle via a last minute penalty that Jordan Pickford takes and scores. That would be the ultimate. That peak. That would be the peak, the absolute peak. But yeah, I think we'll just piss it. I think we'll piss it. Start the season off well. A few clean sheets. Apparently we're going to be away for the first few games. Is what the rumor is, that we're going to be away for the first few games. Well, David Moyes wins away, so we're fine.
True.
Get a few wins under our belts. Go back to Bramley Moor, and just piss the league. Have it sewn up by February. Get a guard of honour off them when we play them at their gaff. Perfect season, and then we can start concentrating on winning the FA Cup as well.
Yeah,
I'm going for the double.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Why not?
That's it. The league's like one for the history books. The FA Cup's the one for the fans, isn't it?
Yeah.
Listen, it's a very strange time at the moment. Newcastle are winning trophies. Tottenham are winning trophies. Crystal Palace have won a trophy. Liverpool have won the league in front of fans. So a lot of
Livingston beat Ross County. Livingston beat Ross County to make the Premiership as well. Which
Aberdeen won the Scottish Cup for the first time since 1990.
Aberdeen, yeah. That's it. So it's a very strange time in football at the moment. So
it's our time. It is our time.
It's
The
hard to
Blue
Um,
Boys are indeed on the rise.
The School of Science is actually on the way back. Hot topic part 2. What's the worst pub name you've ever seen? So, I never thought I'd read this sentence, but it's awful. Even like the more I read it, the worse it gets. Evertonians have chosen the Prince Rupert as the name of the fan-named pub on Village Street at Hill Dickinson Stadium. Everything about that sentence just like makes me shudder. As Phil said, Eddie Kavanagh's was the only answer to this. It was like, that's what it should have been called. But somehow it's been called the Prince Rupert.
I
Village Street as well. Why? What?
I would have leaned into Southall's Arms if it had been Southall's Arms instead of the Southall Arms.
Yes.
Like, call it Southall's Arms, and it sounds so much better.
Yeah, and
I think they've made a mistake there, but yeah, like Eddie Kavanagh's was clearly the runaway winner. On bad pub names, I mean, I'm not a fan of your standards, the Red Lion, the Dog and Duck, and all that. I have got a great pub name. There's a boozer in Edinburgh, and its official name is the Athletic Arms, but it's directly over the road from Dalry Cemetery, so everyone just calls it the Diggers.
That's a belter. We've got some answers to this.
I wanted the
ahead,
Royal
Warren.
Oak to win, by the way. No, I just said I wanted the Royal Oak to win. I don't believe that the Prince Rupert got the most votes. I'm not having it.
I don't think it did either. I'm not having that.
No.
Who's voting
It's
for
like
that?
it's like when you did the vote on the badge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Clearly skewed.
Yeah.
Thing is though, I'm sorry to get political, but people in this country can't be trusted to vote.
True.
Put simply, they can't be
Very
trusted
true.
to vote.
Yeah. Pubby
And
McPub
if they-
face.
Yeah, that's it. I'd rather call it that, to be fair. So yeah, it's what I was going to say. Do you know the one that always used to confuse me when I was a kid? You know the slug and lettuce, but you know, like the way it's all like fancy writing.
Yeah.
I was convinced that it was the slag and lettuce for years. Didn't know.
It depends what night you go on, really.
The slag and lettuce, but I used to refer to it as the slag and lettuce, and then yeah,
I'm saying
slug and
that.
lettuce.
I am saying that.
It looks like the slag and lettuce. What's that?
No, I was just saying, Warren, did you have one? So you said it should have been the Oak. Have you got a bad?
Oh no, I just sorry, I was just adding in there. I just wanted it to be the Royal Oak. That was the name it should have been, but there we go.
Any bad boozer names by you?
Bad boozer names. What was I in yesterday? I was in one yesterday. There's one. Well, it's a great pub, but there's one by us called the Bark and Cat. But it's a great boozer, so it's kind of off. But yeah, it's obviously play on words. But yeah, the Bark and Cat by us, and then there's a few. Yeah, I mean, just like he said, the usual, like the Red Lion, the Moon, and the Square, and all. Yeah, I haven't. There's not. Yeah, I mean, I think you've got to go to Benidorm, really, haven't you, to find the bad ones.
All the good ones.
All the good ones, yeah.
I love you look at it like. There's one by us that's called. It's like it's more of a social club that's trying to be something else, and it's called itself Cock and Tails. Which just like, yeah, it's trying to be a cocktail bar, but called itself Cock and Tails, which is just
that's a little bit.
Yeah,
swingers club that
it is. It does sound like it, doesn't it? Yeah, yeah.
It's a bit like Andrew Lawrence has come up with that and trying to be funny.
Dead-eyed twat. Tangled Up in Blue said Filthy McNasties or Pug Uglies. Dave, this is a belt of the Quid's Inn in Scarborough. The Quid's Inn. Sadly, it's now closed down because I searched for it yesterday because it sounds an incredible gaff. But yeah, they said, guess how much the drinks cost? Even better. Honest Joe, the pub formerly known as the Doric and Seathforth, you know the one. See also the Water Puddling in Waterloo.
I don't know that one. When I saw that, I'd not heard that one.
And Rob said anything with red in it, which is fair enough. Which also made me think of. Do you remember when him off the rap thought he'd got the scoop of the century when he found out that the brick used to be called the red brick, and he thought everyone was asked about it? It was honestly
no one was.
Like, I thought everyone knew that it used to be called the red brick for years, but this was like information he found out about 2 years ago and buzzed off it and was like, "Yeah, this will get them," and no one gave a shit. It's like.
Speaking of the rap and pubs, any pub with holes in the walls and ceilings for aesthetic needs leveling.
Yeah. Oh,
Just going to throw that one out there.
I was shocked to find out that Mr. Creosote owns the Farmers by Us last week. It makes so much sense now I know it, but I was shocked last week to find that out. He's even got gaffs over here. Not into it. Right, transfer season is upon us. Rob Vera will have more transfer shows coming out, and hopefully we'll actually have stuff to talk about this year. So Liam has asked, would you rather we sign in the summer Evan Ferguson, Rebecca Ferguson, the Mad Royal Ferguson lady, or Alex Ferguson's son, Darren Ferguson? Cheers, Ferguson. I'll go with Sarah Ferguson, to be honest, the Mad Royal Ferguson lady. Pete?
I mean, she's always a good laugh, isn't she? She brings a certain type of, or a certain level of charisma to the occasion. I mean, Rebecca Ferguson. Which one are we talking about here? Because there's two, isn't there? I'm sure there's an actress called Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah, there's a Swedish one who was in The Greatest Showman. Great film, by the way.
There we go. Now, if it's that Rebecca Ferguson, then she can do a duet with Pepper Mills to open Bramley Moore.
There we go.
So
that's the one.
If it's that one, if it's the other, mind you, the other one could probably pull that off as well. The one who was in the X Factor, because she's another very good singer.
Okay.
Both Rebecca Ferguson's, 2 for the price of 1.
Right, so that's 1 vote for Rebecca Ferguson, 1 vote for the Mad Royal Ferguson lady. Keith, who are you going with?
Definitely not Darren Ferguson, because when I was a big fat lad, people used to say I looked like him, and I hate him on that basis. I mean, we could throw in Fergie from the Black Eyed Peas as well.
Yeah,
like she get in there. I'm going to go with you though, Les. I'm going to go with Sarah Ferguson, because she saw through Prince Andrew long before anyone else did.
Oh, she did.
Excellent point.
Yeah.
She knew.
100%.
Yeah.
Warren?
So I used to have a bit of a weird thing when I was about 12 or 13 that Barry Ferguson was the answer to all our problems.
He was.
And then I watched him in a game for Scotland, and he was awful, dreadful. And he's obviously just very Rangers, isn't he? So I did have a weird thing for him, but no, I'm happy to go with the lads there. I'm happy to go with Sarah.
It was incredibly Rangers of him, wasn't it, to turn up on his first day as interim manager in an orange Ford Ranger, the staunch mobile.
It was the cliff where he went out bevying, wasn't he? And he went out bevying 2 days before an international, and he's just sitting there like that, isn't he? He's like sitting there with his middle finger up against his nose.
Wasn't
like
it
that.
Him and McFadden?
No, it was him and who's the goalkeeper? The ex-Rangers goalkeeper.
Oh, McGregor.
McGregor, yeah. It was them two, wasn't it?
Did he play for Blackburn at some point, or am I imagining that?
Did,
yeah.
Yeah, I think that was when I watched him.
Because there was a big thing about him, wasn't it, coming down, and it was like, oh, he's meant to be amazing. And like you say, we've been linked with him so much, but he ended up at Blackburn, yeah. Sure, he played something else as well.
Didn't Blackpool? Was it Blackpool as well? Someone or Preston, someone like that.
Not sure.
Let's have a look. Let's research document 101.
Go ahead. The answer to that question is no one said Evan Ferguson, which of course is the correct answer. Not Evan Ferguson, by the way.
How did he do at West Ham in the end?
How did he do at West Ham? He also played for Fleetwood, and he also played for Birmingham.
Birmingham, that's the one. I knew there was another one.
Evan Ferguson. What did he do?
Did he have a good loan spell in the end? Because he went to West Ham, didn't he?
Dreadful.
Well, Evan Ferguson.
Eight appearances, no goals.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Because he was talked up once at being the next big thing, wasn't he? But
yeah, he scored 13.
Chelsea were after him for like 60, 70 million when he was flying at Brighton, and then he's gone to West Ham, and Potter's done him.
He wanted 100, didn't he? He wanted 100 million. That was what it was.
Really? Jesus.
And then last season, or the season after, they turned that down. He just didn't play. Or turned down like a 50, 60 million pound bid.
If you can't highball Chelsea, though, who can you highball? Halsey Nim, how much of a say should Moyes have in recruitment, Keith?
Like Pete said earlier, he should have a very big say in it. At the end of the day, he's the one putting the players on the park. So, like, someone else shouldn't be telling him who he's got to play. If he identifies a target that he thinks is going to improve his team, let him bring them in. And I think you've got to look back to his first spell when he identified players that he wanted to sign who arguably would have taken us on to that next level, and we never were able to get it over the line because we tried to sign them with Blood Brothers tickets instead of actual money. So, yeah, but I think we have to temper expectations here a little bit. Sorry to be serious and all that here, but there is still the looming spectre of PSR, and we are just about coming out the back end of it now. Obviously, we've got the new owners in who are going to invest. We're going to have an increased revenue stream from the new stadium, outside revenue streams that'll develop as well. So that I think over the next 3 to 4 years, you'll see us spend a little bit more money than we have been. But I think this summer has to be a sensible summer, doesn't it? Like, there's a lot of players out with contract as well who need replacing. So you've got to put almost like 90% of our signings this summer need to be squad fillers to replace the ones that are leaving, and not just like go and throw money at people on big daft contracts. As much as I'd love to see Jack Grealish on loan playing for Everton, you just can't financially make that a reality. Let West Ham sign him on loan or something instead, and that'd be funny.
Yeah,
but I think there's that many areas that need strengthening as well, isn't there? Like, obviously, we're going to need a new right back because we've got 2 pensioners and a fat lad. We need a winger with a little bit of pace who can cross the ball. Sit down, Jack Harrison. You're not coming back. And then arguably we need to sign a striker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'd say all the way back to where we started. You've got to let David Moyes identify who he wants, not the type of player he wants, but the actual player he wants, and say, right, I want him, make it happen. And then if it's viable, by all means, let him do it.
Warren, in that regard, it does feel like Moyes is the perfect manager for this sort of rebuild, doesn't it?
He's got a great track record, hasn't he, in signing players. And I think, I know the PSR thing, what Keith's just saying there, but isn't there something about you can do it over a 3-year period? Is there something I've made that up?
I think if you pay the transfer fee, because United tried to do it with that Cunha, didn't they? They tried to pay the 65 million or whatever it was over 5 years, and Wolves were just like, no.
I think
what it is, you can stagger the payments. So if you remember when Chelsea first got taken over, they were giving out 8-year contracts, and what they were doing is they were spreading the payments out over that 8 years, and then they closed that loophole to make it, I think it's 5 is the maximum, 4 or 5, and you can pay it off. So the initial hit for a signing on PSR is only the initial payment. The flip side of that is when you make a sale for PSR, it's the full amount minus bonuses. So say, for example, if it's 50 million plus 10 million pound bonuses, if you were a selling club, it would instantly be a 50 million pound thing on PSR, or, receipt of 50 million pounds. And there's something to do with book value as well, isn't there? There's something else to do with like how long's left on a contract and if you've still got money left to pay and stuff like that. That's why the best way around PSR is to sell your academy players or players that you've signed for nothing.
Yeah,
it's
because it all goes on the thing, Because I'm just thinking, he might go a little bit all out this summer, because I don't think he's got long left, really, has he, Moyes, in terms of his own personal wanting to manage long, because he's 61, 62. He's not going to want to be 65, 66 and still managing. So I think he's probably thinking, I've got to. Do you think? I don't know. I don't think he'll go on that long.
He could go on into his 70s.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I think the way he was talking when he first come in, didn't he? He said, "I'm not going to be here for 11 years this time around," like he said about the
Oh
first
yeah,
time.
fair
So
enough.
I don't
I
know.
think
I mean,
I think we'll get 4 years out of him this time at least.
but I
You
just
look
think
at
he might
Carlo
want to go.
Ancelotti, he's 65.
Yeah, I think he might want to
And the
go. Do you
thing
know
with
what? I'm going for
Moyes,
it.
Yeah,
if you
that's
look at
shout,
his look at his body language since he's come back, his press conferences. This is a different David Moyes. Like the early one was like a firebrand. He had a point to prove, and I think in a way he has proved his point. He's managed 1,000 games as a professional manager now. Like he's a lot more relaxed. He's a lot more sort of what will be about it, and I think that's a good thing for us as well. He's not like fighting everybody always up against it. He's just sort of relaxed into it. And I'm fully here for like sassy cardigan Moyes.
it's the best version of Moyes, I think. Pete,
Yeah.
just to finish on this, aside from like being able to spot a good player, I think the cultural fit's important, isn't it? And it's like it feels like it's a nice time to now build a squad that will culturally fit Everton. They'll fit together as a team, you know, with not many sort of mavericks or people who will upset things. I think that's important now as well, isn't it? It's a good opportunity to do that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, I think you can't underestimate how good it is to have a manager who's of that mindset as well.
Yeah,
Who's who actually has the same mindset as us. Like the difference between Dyche and Moyes. Like towards the end, when Dyche was saying stuff about all the noise about the old lady, and like we're trying to ignore all the noise, like giving the old lady a send off, like being really sort of, that across the line for me. But then Moyes comes in and says, "No, Goodison deserves a good send off." And he was like the complete opposite, and because he gets that culture and he gets Everton Football Club. But again, like this guy's managed a thousand games as a manager. Like I don't understand. I still can't get my head around this director of. I can understand sort of a director of football to take the pressure off the manager in terms of like running day-to-day type things, so the manager can concentrate more on the foot on like this, on coaching and preparing the team. But in terms of signings, why the hell would you want to get someone else to overrule or sort of rule the roost over David Moyes, over who he should be signing? And it only makes sense, that type of structure, if you're going to have a high turnover of managers, but you're going to have similar managers all the time. Like Man United have done it. They ended up spending 600 million basically to get players in for Ten Hag, sack him 8 games in, bring a completely different type of manager in who plays a completely different system. So now they're having to sell all them players, or it's just mental. Just at the end of the day, if you trust the manager, back the manager, let him make the decisions. And like you say, it's as much about the players and the personalities and whether they're going to be coming here for the right reasons. And I think David Moyes is the one.
Defo, I agree. Speaking of a player who could be on his way, Buster Blue Nose has asked, I'm just wondering if you guys have a consensus on whether DCL has peaked during the Ancelotti spell. Do you think finally letting him go look for somewhere? Oh, sorry. Do you think finally letting him go to look for somewhere better is the best step for Moyes? He's got to go, hasn't he? I think for me.
Yeah, done with him now.
Yeah.
Just think it's
100%.
the right time for a partner of the ways. And I mean, again, like the Newcastle game last week when he has that relatively easy chance just to slot it in, he snatches at it. Like I can see him going to Leeds. Or Sunderland.
Yeah, that's a shout.
But he's flapped it because he came, didn't he, when there was talk about signing, when he was offered a new contract, and he was fluttering his eyes at Newcastle, wasn't he, wanting 120 bags a week, and now it's looking like, well, that move's not going to happen, and like, I don't know, I just think he's royally messed it up. And I think, weirdly, I think he'll end up staying now, because I think he'll go, I don't want to join them, I'll stay at Everton, and he'll get as much as he can out of us. But yeah, no, I think it's time. Look, goes with the best wishes, done brilliant in spells, but injury record and goals record is not great. So
yeah, that's the only way to look at it for me. Defo.
Yeah.
Pete?
Yeah, I'm the same. And in terms of goal record as well, like I've seen people, there's been sort of comparisons to like Duncan Ferguson's goal record or his injury record. The thing about Duncan Ferguson was every time he played, he made an impact. And every time, one of the reasons he got injured so much was because he would absolutely give everything every single game. And I just feel like with Calvert-Lewin, I think his head's been other places for a number of years now. Ancelotti basically figured him out, didn't he? Ancelotti said to him, like, you're not very good at the build-up play. You're not very good at link-up play. Just get in the box. And to be fair, he also had Richarlison and James Rodriguez, like, feeding him, and Luka Dean. So, but when you look back at the goals, and to be fair to him, he has got a reasonable instinct in terms of getting in good positions. But a lot of the goals were like on a plate for him. Do you know what I mean? And I do think that was a season he peaked. In fact, looking back at it retrospectively, we probably could have got some decent wedge for him that summer, the summer after that. But obviously, we were hoping that would continue. But yeah, good luck to the lad. I don't have any animosity towards him. It is what it is. I think the only reason we keep him is so that we could sell him next summer anyway for a fee. But let's be honest, if he is injured because of the type of injuries he's got as well, he's going to have to adapt how he plays because he can't do those sprints anymore. And his two biggest assets were that he was quick and he could jump high. Yeah. And if his hamstrings are gone, then those two are out the window, aren't they? Really? And there's not much left.
You can't have that many injuries and miss that many chances.
Yeah, just echo what the lads have said there. It's like I don't think with Calvert-Lewin it's ever been a lack of effort. I think he does put a shift in anytime he's on the park. I think a huge degree of it is a lack of confidence in that, like that. You have some strikers who go one-on-one with a goalkeeper and they're scoring every single time. And I think he gets in his own head. He doubts himself when he gets them chances and he never fully sort of commits to what he wants to do. I think the salary he's on currently, we can't afford to keep him as a squad player. Would you give him another year on reduced terms to, like, he's not going to go for that, is he? He's not going to say, yeah, I'll take more money to sit on, I'll take less money to sit on the bench. So, yeah, I think it's a good time for him to move on. It's a shame we've not made like any sort of profit on him, but it's a big wage off the wage bill, and we didn't spend that much on him in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's one of them. Thanks for the good times. If we ever have another COVID season, we'll give you a call.
And if he does go on a free, there'll be no shirt burning from us. Let's put it that way.
No.
Last bit of transfer stuff from JK. Great question. What's the appropriate punishment for nerds who post transfer threads on Twitter?
Yeah, good question.
Yes, I have the perfect one for this.
Go ahead, Keith.
Half time, do away with the crossbar challenge, game of red arse. All the subs from both teams get to line up and take a shot.
Winner. No better answer to that.
I can't top that. Pete?
Just for context, because I know we have international listeners, and I've done this before about this. Red arse. Red arse, for those who are listening who don't know what red arse is, basically you bend over on the goal line and somebody smashes it and they try to hit you in the arse.
The ball.
Smashes the football.
Smashes the ball. Football. Kicks a football at you.
Yeah.
Because if you say you bend over and somebody smashes
quite important.
You missed out an important detail there.
So we were back to the context, weren't we?
All right, Richard Keys.
Right, and the next one from JK. And what's the appropriate punishment for grown men celebrating with replica trophies? There were medals on show and everything. It's quite weird behaviour. I'm thinking
the
just
medals. The medals was a whole new level, though, wasn't it?
Wasn't it?
Bouncing through with league winners medals. I mean, the trophy thing, like, I don't personally get it. I mean, do you remember that one where I think they'd won the Champions League, and there was that fella who went down to Finch Farm, and he was going, "You'll never get one of these. You'll never get one of these." And he'd obviously got like a replica Champions League trophy. And I was thinking, but that isn't the actual. You know what I mean? You've actually spent.
You haven't got one of them either.
Yeah. And I think this is the
sauce.
Yeah, that's it. But I always think as well, like, you get it's this weird mentality. I always say about them, by the way, is that they're worst, the really bad losers that are like the worst in the world, but they're even worse winners
Yeah.
If it's possible, they're even worse, because it's not enough for them to just see their team win a trophy. They feel like they've won it personally. Like, and I think the medal and the trophy thing kind of shows that. Like, they're not happy for the players and happy that their team, that their players have represented their club and won that trophy. In their heads, they think, I've won the trophy. And I think that's where the mentality comes from when they try and like give us shit. Because it's like, even if they haven't been to Anfield all season, they personally have won a trophy and we haven't. And it's like, well, nah, mate, like you just happen to support the team. Most of them haven't got any connection to the city anyway, but they chose to support the team who wins things. Well done. Like, get them a medal, literally.
Yeah. just a quick story on last week. I think I told you this in the group, but Joe was at his girlfriend's in Crewe. And he turned up at Crewe station and he sent me a message and said, there's just Reds all over the platform. I'm not getting on that train. And actually got an Uber back from Crewe, which is about 40 miles away, because he couldn't go. I thought he maybe been a little bit exaggerating. And then I saw the scenes from Crewe station and I was like, yeah, fair enough, mate. You did the right thing.
It's worth paying a fortune for an Uber back from Crewe. 100%. I'm with him there. I'm almost willing to set up a GoFundMe account to cover his Uber costs.
We'll reimburse him.
Yeah.
You've raised him well, Wes.
But the appropriate punishment for this, by the way, is the same. Game of Red Arse, with the subs being able to smash it for your rival. And if it's fans of a rival club, you have to go to the rival stadium. The only time, by the way, you're allowed to take a replica trophy to the match is if it's made of cardboard and covered in tin foil, a la FA Cup.
Yeah,
that's the only time anyone's ever allowed to take a replica.
10 years old.
Well, I'd allow an adult to do it because it's kind of tradition, and especially FA Cup. But that's the only time. Not taking the physical. By the way, I've got to say this as well, talking about replica trophies. You know, whenever people do these tours of Goodison, or they've done tours of Goodison, they do like meet and greet an Everton legend or whatever, and they wheel out that FA Cup that isn't the FA Cup and looks a bit weird, looks a bit like AI generated FA Cup, and people hold it like that. Well, I'm holding the FA Cup. Sorry, can't be doing with it. I wouldn't want my picture with it. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm on about?
Yeah. I think the thing with the cardboard FA Cups as well is it's got to fold in the middle, like as soon as you hold it up. It's got to be dead wafty and and fall over.
You can't use rigid cardboard.
No, absolutely not. On the last few now, so I don't think there's any more football related ones, or there's one at the end. Toffee Nose has asked, I love this, what's your guilty pleasure 80s song?
Oh, wow. There's a lot.
I've got two that I thought of. So Heart, These Dreams, absolute power ballad. And Paula Abdul, Forever Your Girl, absolute distilled pop from the 80s. So they're mine.
Just having a look through me Apple Music now.
I've got to say, right, so do you remember, I think it's Cyndi Lauper, and it was the song out of the Goonies. Good enough for you, it's good enough. It's like a Goonies like theme song that she did specifically for the Goonies, and that was my favorite film when I was a kid. Look it up. I'm sure it's Cyndi Lauper, but she did.
The Goonies are good enough. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, good enough. Yeah, it's playing when you know at the start where where Data. Where you get introduced to all the characters like Mouth and Data turn up, and then Brand, the brothers doing like the weights and all that. It's in the background then. It's amazing.
I reckon you could turn this into an Everton song, mate. The lyrics are, here we are hanging on to strains of green and blues, break the chain and we break down, but it's not real if you don't feel it. Unspoken expectations, ideal you used to play with, they finally taken shape. You can make that into a song for next season, mate.
That's your homework as well.
Fun fact as well, if you look at the music video for that, there's a bit in it with an octopus. And in the Goonies, at the end of the Goonies, the reporter asks them about what was the scariest part of your adventure. And then one of them says the octopus was really scary. Now, in the actual film, it doesn't show the octopus. But if you look at the deleted scenes on YouTube, originally there was an octopus scene. And they defeated the octopus by putting a Walkman in the octopus's mouth, and it was playing Cyndi Lauper.
The Goonies is your mastermind subject, isn't it?
Oh, I love it, honestly. You ask me anything about that. The Goonies.
Tremendous Goonies trivia, that.
As the fact that Arne Slot stars in it ruined it a bit, though.
it's worth watching just for that. Have a look on YouTube for the deleted octopus scene. You'll also see why it wasn't included in the end film.
Yeah.
It was proper jump the shark moment. You know what I mean? It was proper Spielberg.
Keith?
Given that I don't think we can claim Temptation as a guilty pleasure song because it is simply the best song of the 80s, I'm going to go with All Out of Love by Air Supply because it is a ballad.
It is. It is. You old romantic man. Warren?
I mean, Rick Astley is the answer, but I'm going to go for Heaven is a Place on Earth, Belinda Carlisle.
Oh,
absolute shout.
That's a beauty.
I want to say, by the way, Rick Astley, Angels by My Side. He only released it about 10 years ago. What a belter of a tune that is. Look it up.
Was it in the Goonies?
It wasn't. Well, hopefully it might be in the sequel. You never know.
Sorry, Pete.
Bit of a vibe shifter, yes. Stephen said, Sydney Sweeney is selling soap made from her used bathwater. What is the strangest thing you have ever bought or sold?
I'd never heard of this girl before it was in the group the other day. I had no idea who she was until it was in the group. So I was like, what the hell is going on? Never heard of her. I don't know who she is. Who is she?
She's an actress.
Oh, is she? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Never
heard of her.
Orders 5.
Pete's spending next week in the bath. I've never bought anything overly weird, but the weirdest thing I've ever sold when I was moving out of my house, I sold half a couch.
Half?
Yeah, I had a corner sofa, right, and I was selling it because I was moving in with her, and like the house is furnished and that, so I didn't need it. So I sold it on Facebook Marketplace. If you've never sold anything on Facebook Marketplace, just do it once for the experience because you will meet the weirdest human beings going. So I sold this corner sofa, and obviously they could only fit half of it in the whatever they turned up to pick it up in. So they bought half and then never came back for the other half. So I was left with half a couch. So I had to take it to the tip.
Mad. That's so like Facebook Marketplace is to weirdos what Vinted is to minge bags, isn't it? It's absolutely crazy. What did you do with the other half of the couch? Just went to the tip then?
Tip. I had to take it to the tip.
Incredible.
And I had no choice. I couldn't relist it, could I?
You never know. Maybe come and give you the same money for the other half as well.
Yeah, possibly. No, but there you go.
Pete?
Come back to me. I'll have a think.
Warren?
I can't think of anything I've particularly bought that's strange or sold anything that's strange. However, do you remember about a year ago, the fella who bought he wanted to buy AirPods off, it was either Temu or one of the other knockdown ones, Wish, something. And come through the post was this AirPod, about that big. But no, other than that, I can't really. Do you know what?
Did he buy them off Gary Lineker?
No, do you know what I tell you what? So on our randomly, we've got at our school, we've got a 4G surface playing field, and we share it with the community. So the community rents it, but we use it in the day at school. And a lot of the time you go on the next morning and there's like mess left there, or someone's left like a coat or something and whatever from the day before. And I went on there and I found this red and white scarf. This isn't a joke. This is genuine, by the way. Found this red and white scarf with a little tinge of black in it. So it's not a Liverpool scarf. It must be a United scarf. So I picked it up and looked at it, and on it was a label which, do you remember when they played City and it was the anniversary of Munich, and they give everyone, a bit like they give us last week, they give everyone a scarf in the ground, and it had the date 2012 or whenever it was, Manchester United versus Manchester City, in honour of the Munich. So it's been sitting on my desk at work for months, and I only the other day remembered about it to Google it, and they're going on sale on eBay and all these or whatever, like memorabilia sites, like 50, 60 quid a pop. So I'm considering like giving it a little sale, you know.
Stick it on Facebook Marketplace.
I might do it, just see what happens. Yeah, might cut it up into quarters.
I think the weirdest thing I bought So back in like the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, I had a bit of an obsession with Alessi stuff. Have you seen it? Like, the inside cover of What's the Story, where it's got the little jar with the little man on the lid.
Yeah.
So Alessi stuff, it's like designer homeware. And I think when we got our first house, I was like obsessed with this stuff, and it dropped £20 on an Alessi fly swat. I paid 20 quid for a fly swat, and I'm like, why did I do that? Obviously, I had too much money available to me at the time. But, yeah, just this big green fly swat that just stood on the desk.
I was in Asda the other day, and George and Asda, the clothes thing, have started doing with Oasis obviously coming back. They had it in they had the dad, the mum, the daughter, and the son like set up like with the mannequins, and the dad had in the Oasis logo, our dad, and then it was our mum, and then the kids was our kid's brother and our kid's sister or something like that. And they're selling them in George now, and I can just imagine some fella walking around with our dad's in the Oasis logo. So they look out for that next time, Asda.
Yeah, I'm not ready for this at all. I'm gonna have to burn all my bucket hats on because they're gonna be everywhere.
It's gonna get. When is it? When's the first gig?
Next month.
Is it? Is it next month?
No, sorry, July. Sorry.
So, but it's this year.
Yeah. July 11th.
Oh, it's all going to start then, innit? Over the summer, it's all going to start.
Yeah, and just to be contrary as well, I've just ordered a peaked hat instead of a bucket hat for the first time in about 10 years. So I'm moving away from that shit now.
No, stay with it. Claim it. It's yours. No one else's.
Yeah, but when everyone else is doing it, I don't want any part of it.
Yeah, true.
It's very good.
Pete,
I can't really think of much, to be honest with you. I suppose there's been some questionable design choices or clothing choices over the years. I remember buying when I was a kid. I was about 15 or 16, and I got a T-shirt from the River Island sale because I was going on holiday. And like, full disclosure, I never smoked weed because it used to just knock me out if I ever tried it. But I got this T-shirt that said, "Weed will get you through times of no money better than money will get you through times of no weed." And it was like a khaki green sort of thing with this writing on. And I thought, oh yeah, I look dead cool. And look, I didn't even smoke weed, but it was just but yeah. But I can see photos from like holidays when I was 16. Do you know what I mean? Wearing this really questionable T-shirt. But yeah, that's probably a weird thing to buy in it, especially when you don't actually smoke weed. But
it is. Did you put any rock bands in it for authenticity as well?
No, that's a really good point. Probably should have done, shouldn't I? But yeah, just questionable life choices, I suppose.
See, this is the thing. I think if you've never bought questionable clothes, you're doing it all wrong. You've got to look back on photos from 15, 20 years ago and think, what the fuck was I thinking there? Got to.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. 100%. Oh, the other thing as well, I'd probably say as well that I had a really bad obsession with getting really well. We'd make a new signing of a player, and I'd get the name and number on the back of a shirt, and I'd be thinking, yeah, they're going to be like the next Andre. I think I was always chasing Andre Kanchelskis. I was always chasing Kanchelskis. So it was Alex Anderson. I think I said before, I've got Alex Anderson on the back of like 3 shirts, and it cost a bomb because you used to have to pay per letter. And then in later years, for some bizarre reason, I got Billy Etanov 7 with the Europa League badges on it, and I don't know why. Because I mean, the weirdest thing about it is, I don't actually. I mean, look at me wearing this today. I got this out the loft, by the way. I don't wear like shirts to go to the match. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know why. What was going through my head when I decided to get Billy Etanov number 7 on the back of the shirt?
You just love a name with curves around the back, don't you? No
exactly,
time for
that's exactly what it is.
There's Max.
Hello, Max. Look at Max there.
So if you're not watching on YouTube, I would recommend you go and watch on YouTube for Max content because it never lets you down.
He's a good lad.
We're gonna end on some violence.
Yes.
Best way to end. So Dales has asked, which celebrity / politician / biff would you most like to kneecap in caps as well? I like that, for their views and why. Warren, go ahead.
Do you know, it's the only most recent one, and there's a lot. There's a lot of people. I mean, obviously, the obvious answer is Stephen Mulhern. We know that.
Oh, yeah, clearly.
But the most recent one was, the most obvious one for me, just at the minute. Sorry, the answer for the minute is just that Michael Fabricant. You know, the one with the what's it head.
Yeah, send his wig spinning.
It's a wig.
Oh, just after everything what happened on Monday, and he comes in and wades in with his opinion. I'm like, mate, you don't even give a shit about this city or about anything to do with our city. So just pipe down with your views, will you? So yeah, I'd love them to just give him a little going over for 10 minutes if that'd be all right. But yeah, no, Stephen Mulhern is the answer, always the answer.
On Fabricants, it's actually the wig that makes all the decisions. He's just the host.
Is it a bit like, do you know that Treehouse of Horror Simpsons where Homer has Snake's
exactly
wig?
That. Yeah.
And then he commits all crimes, but it's the wig, it's not Homer. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Apparently, Michael Fabricant used to be like a proper left wing, and then the wig took hold and turned him completely 180. Pete?
We limited to just one because it's just any Tory.
List
all
it.
of them.
List, yeah, names,
just all
whatever.
Yeah. No, well, Boris has got to be in there, hasn't he? That's what. There's that knobhead comedian fella,
Shark Eyes,
who's the most unfunny man alive, who's been mouthing off this week about Liverpool money. I won't say his name. He's one absolute prick, him.
I didn't even know he was a comedian until this week.
Didn't even know who he was. I still don't think he is one. I think
I was trying to dig out.
He's just one of these right-wing grifters, isn't he?
I was trying to dig out the tweets that someone put about him, where it said, I just have this nightmare where him and his family are living in my walls and they've all got those eyes. I couldn't dig it out, but it was perfect.
Funny. Yeah.
If you're calling yourself a comedian and your biggest gig on tour is a crazy golf venue, you're not really going to make it to the top, are you? Can you imagine the embarrassment, and for his family, the second-hand embarrassment of getting KB'd by a pitch and putt? You knock it on the head, wouldn't you?
Yeah. It's time to rein it in then, isn't it? Any more, Pete, before we move on to Keith's list?
My list is endless, just any Tory. Past, present, or future. So just keep adding to it, all of them.
Can you do all of them?
Even
the style of We Didn't Start the Fire.
Sorry, Keith, what was that?
I said, can you do all of your list in the style of We Didn't Start the Fire? Just start reading it.
I'll work on it. Tell you what, that's my other bit of homework. What was the first one? Cyndi Lauper chant.
Yes, Cyndi Lauper chant.
And We Didn't Start the Fire. Right, okay.
Yeah.
That's two.
Right.
And you're not coming back on until you've done it.
I'll have it done by tonight. I've got no life.
So for me, like just to echo the other ones on old Shark Eyes there's been some rum opinions on what happened on Monday from the very worst people in society, isn't there?
Yeah.
Just like, shut up. Just leave it be. Why are you getting involved? You don't give a shit. You clearly don't give a shit. You're using this to try and generate money from X.com, formerly Twitter, brackets.
Yeah.
So fuck off. Mine, as always, is the Brewdog Bald.
Yeah.
It will never be anyone but the Brewdog Bald.
That video where he's with, what's her name? The blonde one, his girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
And they're talking about how they meet every month to discuss the relationship or something. Like, the actual rage inside.
They have a Zoom call as well, don't they?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Honest to God.
Agenda. What an absolute colostomy bag of a.
Do you know what? I was in a pub the other day, and there was a one of the on giraffe was a Brewdog, and it was the only decent one that looked there. When I say decent, what I mean is all the other selections was like Carlsberg and all that. And I think I ended up having a short because I'm not drinking any of these. Just for that as well.
By the way, them sponsoring West Ham is the most
West Ham thing ever, isn't it? Yeah,
isn't it? It's so very, very West Ham, which just reminded me of like possibly the best West Ham tweet I've ever seen when they qualified for Europe, and someone said, "Can you imagine they meet Real Madrid? Sergio Ramos hands over a Real Madrid pennant, and Mark Noble puts a bunch of pears in a brown paper bag and spins it 3 times."
Just on this one, I think mine's James O'Brien because he's just the biggest centrist grifting flat ever. He is.
He's very arrogant, and very like, I'm better than you. Yeah.
Oh, everything's terrible. You fucking caused this. You enabled this.
Yeah.
Own it.
Exactly. It's
You
the little
big prick.
head thrown off and his pained expression when he's talking to people. It's like, oh, fuck off. Just, yeah, leave it. So we'll finish on this anyway. From the good times, lads. Just need a one-word answer. Who wins in a fight? John Spencer or Umar Nias? Warren?
Umar.
Keith?
Umar, but he'd have to get dressed at home because he hasn't got a locker at the venue.
Keith?
Umar, that man scored with his cock. He can beat up John Spencer.
Scored with his cock. Scored with his arse as well.
Scored with everything.
Not many lads have done that.
Umar.
So yeah, and I say Umar as well. So yeah, Umar, and yeah, I think we need to see that happen. I'm all in.
Yeah.
Right, that's been it for this week's mailbag. Another lovely way to spend Saturday morning.
Absolutely.
Thanks to Pete. Thanks to Keith. As ever, thanks to everyone who sent questions in. Go and enjoy the summer. We'll be here every week anyway. But yeah, go and enjoy the summer. Thanks for your support all this season. The show literally would not happen without you sending questions in. So it is very much appreciated. Thanks to the lads for this morning. Thanks to everyone. That's been this week's mailbag. Up the toffees.